It all started here. Last autumn, my husband and I were watching Gilmore Girls, and it was the episode about the knitting marathon, and Lorelai and all of the characters were knitting, they were buying yarn, they were planning ahead how they gonna use up the amount of yarn they were supposed to use up to get the best benefits. And I was like, hey, by the way, did you know that I actually know how to knit? And my husband was like, what do you mean? And I was like, my mom taught me when I was 5. Obviously, I don't remember anything right now, but back then I made a scarf and I was very excited about it. I was very little, and obviously nowadays I don't remember anything, but haha, that's just a fun fact. So if at one point I decide to make you something, I can. And that's kind of where we dropped it. But the next day we went to a supermarket, and if you've ever been to Danish supermarkets, even your local supermarket probably has yarn on sale. It might be not the best quality, but you definitely will find some kind of yarn in your local supermarket. So we were at the supermarket looking for some autumnal cute things to do together. We were thinking about cooking a pizza or something. And then I saw yarn and I was like, hey, how fun would it be if I made you a scarf? This is how my journey started. Hello, my knitting friends and buddies. My name is Nadia. I'm the face behind the Lemony channel, where we discuss all things knitting. Today I'm going to share with you everything I made throughout my first year of official knitting. I will tell you all about the project, show you pictures and maybe videos. And quick disclaimer, this video title is a lie, because technically I cannot show you every single project I've made, because I made a lot of gift knits. Gift knits are already with their owners because I gifted them. My knifts are already somewhere in the world. So I hope I will be able to find some photos of them, but I cannot promise you that. So grab a beverage of your choice and let's get into it. So what does a normal person do when they see yarn at the store and they don't really know how to knit or crochet or do anything? I've tried crocheting in the past years, but I have not been successful at all. I only managed to finish one project and it was ugly. It was a very ugly tote bag, so I knew I was not exactly the crafty type of girl, because I don't have any patience in me, at all. Patience is not my thing at all. Also, I am ADHD. I skip hobbies every second, so every time I see a new hobby, I should probably tell myself, stop, don't do this, you're gonna regret this. But somehow I saw this yarn. It was, I think it was merino yarn, but from a very, very budget local brand. So even though it was merino, it was not soft at all, but I was like, ooh, it feels so good. Because I'm so used to wearing polyester-based knits that I was like, oh, that feels like actual wool. And it was actual wool, so it made a lot of sense. So we chose colors that my husband actually liked. It was a dark blue and a white color. And we decided that I will make a striped scarf. And when we got back home, we realized there was a small problem. I did not have any needles. So the next day I went to the place I've only heard legends of, to the yarn store. I've been there before. I was buying a certificate for our friend here in Denmark. She is an avid crocheter and we were getting her a gift card to this shop. But I've never actually been around there, so I did not know where to look for anything, and I had no idea what I was looking for. I didn't know the difference between circle needles, interchangeable needles, just needles. All I remembered was having those wooden old grandma style needles that I had when I was 5 years old. And neither did I know anything about gauge, about needle sizes, about appropriate needle sizes. But luckily on the yarn band, it said the needle size that they were planning for people to use. And even though I had no idea what gauge was, I was like, okay, that sounds like a size I need to look for. Then came the problem of not knowing what the hell is the cable size, because our store only had circle needles or interchangeable needles. And I was like, I have no idea what I need. So I just randomly picked some needles that looked good enough for me. I was too shy to ask the shop assistant about what I needed for my project, so I just went with whatever I chose. Turned out it was Adi needles, so they are quite good actually, and I left them to my sister later on when I already had another set, but that's the future us problem. So I picked up those needles, I went to YouTube and revisited all the memories of knitting with my mom. I learned knitting and purling again, and I was like, I'm not making just like stockinette scarf. I'm gonna make it a ribbed scarf. Can I just tell you that it looked awful? I did not know how to fix mistakes without unraveling everything. I did not know anything about how those mistakes actually were created. I did not know anything about changing yarns. I was just like kind of improvising. And also, since I did not know anything about gauge, the fabric I was making was so tough. I think if you try, you can use the scarf as a freaking weapon. But I finished the scarf, which I was very surprised with, because usually I just drop projects. I definitely did the ADHD thing of like making it too short, because who has time to actually knit longer than they have to, you know, like I made it enough. I made it long enough. And my husband said he liked it. I did not like it. And I was like, yeah, no, you should never wear it. But he was like, no, I will. I just like need to wait for the weather because it is very warm. It's very stiff. I was like, yeah. But even though it didn't turn out great, I was like, that was fun. Especially since I was getting ready for the final exam of my Danish course. And I was super stressed, I was super depressed, and altogether, I was not in a good state. And I was like, damn, that's a nice meditative thing I can do while watching TV shows when I'm trying to like, I was watching a lot of TV shows in Danish so that I can kind of have better understanding of oral language. And it didn't help, not really, but at least it was fun. So I was like, I need to start knitting because it's fun. And the next day I was walking down the street next to this yarn shop and I noticed two things. First, there was a bin with discounted yarn in front of it. So it was probably better than the one I had from the supermarket. And second, this shop had a sample of this small scarf that everybody's wearing. At that point, I did not know anything about petite knit. I did not know anything about Sophie scarf. I did not know it was called Sophie scarf. So I just Googled like small triangular scarf and found out a tutorial on how to make them. And also I found yarn that was like silk with merino that was like super cheap and it was Italian yarn. And I was like, oh, that sounds fancy. I'm gonna try that. Did I check if it was okay for my needles? Obviously not. I just went with it. And surely in like a week or so, I think, I ended up with my first ever Sophie scarf. It was very disproportionate because after blocking that I learned about way too late on my knitting journey when I already like was past the first project, and I might have hanged my scarf to dry. That was not smart. So it was super long and it was not wide, but I was so happy with how it turned out. It was silky, it was so soft. People in my language school, they went crazy when I wore it because they could not believe that I actually made it, because they knew I didn't knit before. They just saw me knit during like the pauses in between classes. And a week later, I had a freaking scarf. Everybody got so excited, and people were like, "Oh, you need to knit me a scarf. You need to meet. You need to knit me a scarf. You need to knit." Oh my God, English is so hard. Сделай мне шарф. Сделай мне шарф. Сделай мне шарф. And since I was super excited, I actually agreed and started making scarves for everybody. And then the winter started. Winter is generally the season of gift knits, isn't it? Either people expect you to knit them something, or you just want to knit something for them. It's always the time when we are mostly ignoring our ego streak. How do you say ego streak in English? Egoistic, selfish knitting. It's we ignore our selfish knitting, and we try to make our loved ones or the people close to us happy by making something warm and cozy for them. Well, it started off with my group mates who just wanted something cool, and by the middle of December, I made like 3 or 4 Sophie scarves. Even sent one to Russia to my friend because she really wanted a Sophie scarf. And I switched to another fun project, scrunchies. I started making scrunchies because, again, everybody were like, "Oh, make me a scrunchie, make me a scrunchie, make me a scrunchie." Would I suggest anybody to make gift knits a month after they started knitting? Definitely not. Because, for example, I did not know the thing that cotton yarns are a bit slippery. So if you don't correctly weave in the ends, and probably you would want to like make knots out of like the plies in the yarn, out of the strands. I did not know that. So half of the knits I made, they actually fell apart. Did I re-knit those gifts? No, because we never spoke to those people after we finished Pro School. But one scrunchie that actually survived everything is still worn by my friend from Pro School, from language school, and he's still very happy, and I'm very happy that I don't know how it survived. It did survive, even though I didn't do proper job weaving in ends, but I'm so happy it did. Then I bought my first pattern. I decided that it would be a great idea to make a cat ornament for Christmas tree, because I wanted to make it for my sister. I was traveling to my family to England, and I wanted to make them like little copies of their cats to hang in the trees. But as I already told you, I did not know what gauge was. So I just picked boucle and bulky boucle yarn. I think it was Guipard Teddy or something. And followed the pattern that I bought. So when I tried the pattern, I did try it at first. This is what I finished with, a cute little cat. But when I used the yarn I bought for my sister, it turned out to be this size. So I quickly changed the idea to making it a plush toy. I bought like a filling you put inside the toys, and I made her a little toy. And I hope that she still sleeps with this toy because it's cute as hell. And I even made like a hat and a scarf for this toy. But that was definitely not what I planned. So this was the moment when I was like, okay, I need to learn about gauge and about sizing, because this is getting ridiculous. After I started learning about gauge, I was like, well, now I know so much about knitting, I can probably start making actual garments. And you know what I picked as my first ever garment? A cardigan. A lace cardigan. A lace cardigan from a free drops pattern. What could go wrong? As you can guess, a lot of things went wrong. First of all, I had no idea how anything works in a garment. And if you have ever used drops patterns, they are free, which is amazing, but because they're free, they generally tend to have some mistakes in them, and they're not very, I would say they're described well for people who are already like very good at knitting, so you can kind of understand what they mean. But if you're a complete beginner, you have no idea what they mean. And even though they had a lot of videos with tutorials for this particular cardigan, that did not really help me at nearly falling deep into depression, because my depression was already not doing good after all the exams and everything. But the fact that I had to start over 7 times because I did not understand how to make like the first setup rows of the lace pattern that was going on throughout the whole cardigan, I was going nuts. I swear to God, I was going nuts. But somehow, a month later, after suffering through every single thing that I had to learn to make this cardigan, I finished it. It had a lot of mistakes in it. It had a lot of mistakes in it. I still haven't learned how to fix mistakes without unraveling everything. So I kind of just like went with the mistakes and told myself that, well, that's the beauty of the handmade garment. Because of that, there is a whole stripe of pearls on my sleeve because I did not know what went wrong. I did not know how pearls looked. I just was like going straight through the pattern, hoping that in the end something will work out. And it kind of did. After I was done with the cardigan though, I felt like now I am a true professional. So not only did I decide that I am cool enough to make gifts for people on like a higher level, I also decided that it would be a great idea to make a hood with sequins in it for my friend that offered to get yarn so that I make it. Oh my God. Let's just say that even though I was more proficient now than I was when I started the cardigan, I was nowhere near knowing what provisional cast on is, for example, or how to pick up stitches properly. I did not know anything. But somehow I finished the hood. I even tried to hide all the mistakes I made. I hope she's satisfied with this. I really want to remake it later because now that I see this hood, I know that it is ugly. But back then I was so proud of myself. And right after that, I went into my, wait, where did this fly come from? It's November. It's supposed to be dead already. Not that I'm not happy that you're not dead, but still. Yeah, can you let me finish the video? I've been suffering so long. Guys, I'm sorry if the fly is still in the shot and in the sound. I can't really do anything about it. I don't want to kill it. It does not deserve to die because I am making a video. It was already February, and when February comes to Denmark, generally the weather starts to look more sunny and you can see something that I call the false spring. So basically in February, the sun comes out more frequent, it becomes like the light day becomes longer, and you kind of feel like the spring is here, there's spring in the air. It's a lie. It's gonna go back to winter at least 2-3 times more. But because of this feeling of spring, I was like, I am ready to make spring/summer projects. So this is kind of how my spring started. Now, is it fair to say that the spring actually started? No, not really, but it was the spring in my knitting era. So I started making Lilac Sweater by Basson Knits, And that was an interesting choice. It was the first time we went and bought actual fancy yarn. We went and bought Sannes Garn Line in a bigger yarn store, so I was feeling already like a proficient knitter. What I did not know was that summer yarns or anything with cotton in it or other plant-based fibers is not exactly stretchy, so it kinda makes your hands hurt much more. And I did not know why that was happening. I did not know anything about it. So I tried buying like the compression gloves, but still my hands hurt. I was very disappointed about my health. I thought it was me. No, it was not me. So if your hands hurt when you knit with cotton or any other kind of plant fibers, it's not you, it's them. They are not stretchy, so it makes it harder for your hands to handle it because there is no like kickback. Surprisingly, I almost did a good job with the lilac sweater. Since I already know how to work lace, I did not have troubles in this department, and I even learned German short rows for this pattern, and I was very excited about it. The only thing that actually I failed was the bind off. This pattern doesn't have ribbing at the bottom of the sweater. It does have for like the edge, like neck edging and for the sleeve edging, but on the bottom there is no ribbing. It just ends in pattern. Because of that, I decided, and the pattern calls for it, to bind it off the usual way, just like the regular bind off. Can I just say that you can definitely see that it's like too tight there when I wear it? Like my t-shirt goes like this. But I mean, it couldn't have been perfect. It was my second garment ever. But still, I think it looks cute and I still wear it, and it's super lightweight and I was so proud of myself. And then I switched to my second spring knit, which was actually super exciting because I was going to Sabrina Carpenter concert and I decided, why don't I make myself a hard cutout top, just like her album costume she was wearing when she was presenting the album. And luckily I found this heartless top by one of my favorite designers, Emma. Emma, if you're watching, I love you, you know that. And I decided that it would be a very good idea to add sequins yarn inside so that it's like shiny and sparkly. The only thing I did not think through was that I didn't know how to choose yarns for projects yet. And I decided that it would be a fun idea to make a top completely out of Drop Daisy, which is 100% merino. Yeah, it was a top made in wool. If I tell you how sweaty I was during the show, you will not believe me. I was literally drenched. But this top taught me so much about shaping, about adding I-cord edging, about adding like wires inside of your knitting. And the construction itself taught me a lot of things, and I was feeling like a knitting genius already. While I was in Amsterdam for the Sabrina Carpenter's show, I went to Stefan and Penelope's yarn store, which had a huge sale because they were moving location, and I got 2 balls of Life in the Long Grass merino silk, I think it's called. I'm not so sure right now, but I think it's called this way. Beautiful hand-dyed yarn, and it was my first like luxury yarn. I came home and immediately cast on the Inkivari, I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but cowl, which I made very quickly, and it was so lightweight. It was so not the correct yarn for it, but I loved it so much. It was the true spring project, which quickly switched to the next spring project. I made an Evie hood by Woozy by Celine, and this one was very soft and airy and very much not appropriate for Danish weather. I am ashamed to say that even though it looks cute, first of all, it did not suit me at all. It looks ridiculous on me, and I only found it out when I was finished with the project. Second of all, it's super fluffy and soft, which is awful for rainy weather, but also it's super warm, so it's bad for not so cold weather. And this is generally how spring is in Denmark. It's either rainy or like not too. Excuse me? Can I continue, please? So I'm very ashamed to say that I've never actually worn it out. It just like it stays in my wardrobe, and I'm thinking of actually selling it on Vinted because it doesn't get anywhere, and I spend so much time on it. I don't want to unravel it and like salvage the yarn because it looks so cute. Maybe somebody will enjoy it. After that, I went to Copenhagen with my friend and we got some guepard alpaca something yarn. And I was like, ooh, everybody's making Sophie hoods now. I have a Sophie scarf. I wore it multiple times. I should probably make a hood. And I made it. And can I just say that so far, even though it's already much later, it's still my favorite project ever. I wear it religiously. From the moment I made it until the middle of May, and then the moment it got chilly in September, I worn it almost every day. I've worn it everywhere. It fits everything. You can it's very lightweight, so you can like put it in your bag and take it with you. I just love this project. I think I will make another one for myself because the one I made is an electric blue and it doesn't really suit everything color-wise, but it's literally the first pattern I was like 100% in love with and would 100% make again. Throughout the rest of spring, I continued making like gift knits, if you will. I made a few dice bags for my friends. I made a scarf. Actually, that was a fun one. It was a Gigi manga cat scarf. And it's the Gigi from the Hayao Miyazaki cartoon about the witch. I don't remember the name of the cartoon, but still, it's so cute, right? It was my first time actually like making something that looked like a toy. So my friend has a black cat, and I decided to make her this scarf for her birthday, and I hope she liked it because it was a very fun knit to make, and it looks so cute. After all the dice bags, I made a few hats, also knifts for my friends. Like May is one of those months when I have way too many friends with birthdays. I made a lot of knifts throughout May. That was crazy. And also my husband asked for a sweater. And I was like, how can I say no? It's his birthday in May as well. So I tried to make him a cabled sweater. I bought yarn that apparently was discontinued and I did not buy enough. So the cabled sweater turned into cabled what do you call it, vest, I guess. The fun fact is that I still did not correctly get the gauge thing. So it's very see-through and very long. But he still wears it a lot under his hoodie because it's getting chilly to bike in Denmark. After all the knifts, I was going crazy. So I decided that I need to make something for myself and it needs to be something summery because I was going nuts. It was getting too warm for me. So I decided to make a Provence top. I already knew I liked Sandnes Garn Line. I got some on sale. It was on sale because it was discontinued, so when I ran out of yarn, I did not know where to get some. Luckily, I found some on Vinted and it all turned out perfect. It's this very pretty lace pattern and I wore it throughout the whole summer, even though I continued making my Typical problem of making it too short, so every time I move, you can see my belly, which is not perfect because I'm very ashamed of my belly because I'm fat. But I still very much like this project, and you have already seen it on this channel. And to match the top, I made a few bandanas out of free patterns, and that was pretty much the point where the summer has started. Now, summer was the season where I went crazy for summer yarns. I decided that I don't want to see wool, to touch wool, that I hate wool. I only want to knit with cotton. Cotton and maybe something even less than cotton, like silk. Was I suffering? Yes, I was. My hands did not say thank you to me when I decided to make multiple cotton-based projects. I made either Tea by Petite Knit, and it was completely cotton in fingering weight. Why did I think it was a good idea? I made Clematis Vest in Line, which is cotton viscose linen blend. Clematis Vest was actually the first project I did not like in the end when it was like finished. It's the second project I have never worn out, but at least I wear it at home because it's like nice thing to put on when it's like not too cold, but just like chilly, you know. But then an exciting thing happened. I got into my first test knit. I saw on TikTok Kate Creates Design post a video about her picnic sweater, and I immediately fell in love with it. It was like such a me pattern, and I had a picnic blanket that looked like exactly like the stripes she had on her sweater, and I fell in love with it. And I immediately applied, and I was so sure I won't get in because I didn't have any test knitting experience. I didn't even know what I was supposed to do during test knit. But surprisingly, when I got email from Kate that I got into test knit, I realized that this is my dream come true, because I used to tech edit a lot. And basically, when you're test knitting the pattern, you can find all types of like things that don't align or anything. And I started making a million comments to the pattern. I thought Kate will make me by the end of the test knit. I swear, I was like commenting like crazy. But instead of unaliving me, we actually became good friends, and she's one of my like best knitting buddies right now, I swear. I tech edit her patterns now, and she is the future of knitwear design. I hope she becomes like the most popular knitwear designer in the world, and I like she's just so lovely. Please go follow her on all of your socials. She's having this gorgeous moose pattern in testing right now, and it's gonna be coming pretty soon, I guess. So there's that. But yes, I did finish the picnic sweater quite fast, and I think actually maybe the only one who actually made it on time, because I was a very responsible test knitter, and I always am a very responsible test knitter. So I finished the sweater, and it was my first like sweater. And oh my God, I fell in love with it. It was so lightweight, but at the same time was like a bit bulky. I wore it throughout the whole summer, and even like in September when it was still not warm enough for proper sweaters, I was wearing it, and I will be wearing it until I die. I will take the sweater to my grave because it's such a me sweater, and I love it, even though I hated the yarn I was making it with. But you can learn a bit more about it in my summer yarns rating video. After finishing my test knit, I went completely into knit mood again, because the end of July and beginning of August is also like a very birthday full time period for me. So I made a strawberry pouch bag and a bandana. I think it was like Urla bandana for my friend. and I made my first pair of socks for my dad and sent him socks back to Russia. He was very happy, but it was very hard to, first of all, finish a pair of socks. I did not know that before, but I also suffer from, like, you made one sock, the project is ready. But it was also very hard to like guess the size because unless you can try the socks onto someone who has a very big foot, actually, it's hard to guess if it's gonna fit or not. So I think they're a bit too big for him, but since he's using them to just like put on top of normal socks to get it like a bit warmer, because right now my parents live in more of a country house than an actual like apartment building, so it can get a little bit chilly during the winter. I'm pretty sure you've heard about Russian winters. They are not very warm. Next, I started buying yarn of Vinted in huge amounts, and I had so many plans for them. But the problem was that the summer was coming to an end, and I am very like influenced by the season. So if the summer is coming to an end, I don't want to see summer projects anymore. I hate them completely the second it turns a little bit chilly. So I was in the middle of making camisole number 9, I think, by My Favorite Things Knitwear, when I was like, I need to be done with all those projects, and everything I planned and did not finish and have yarn for is moving to the future Nadia problems, like the next summer, somewhere next summer. Because of that, I have a full drawer full, like a drawer full of summer yarns that I haven't used yet, and they are all in like project quantities. I hope that next summer I will actually make those projects. But I finished the camisole number 9, and it was a very fun project, even though it was like super, super small yarn, and I hate knitting with small needles. It was made out of cotton merino by Knitting for Olive, and it was the first luxury yarn I bought in like big quantities. So we invested in it when we were in Knitting for Olive shop in Copenhagen, and I was super excited about it. And now it's one of my favorite like everyday knits because like I wear it with everything. It's super lightweight. Because of cotton, it's super breathy because of merino. It has all the like cleansing qualities of wool, so I can wear it a lot without needing to actually wash it because you can just like air everything out, and I love it. But the second I was done with camisole number 9, I got into another test knit. You probably already know everything about it because this was already when I started making this blog, but I fell in love with the picture of the sweater that Friday Knits Phoebe posted on her TikTok. It was the Fisherman's Rib sweater, and I was literally counting seconds until the test knitting call was on. I swear to God, I was probably the first one to apply it because I was waiting. I was literally just like, when does it open? When does it open? I think it was like the link was either in her stories or on the like she sent out the email for like people who applied or something. But I was very quick to apply. And I honestly still can't really believe that I actually got in because Phoebe is a very famous designer with a lot of projects, so she could have picked anybody. And there are a lot of people who are like very known in the community who did test knit the project. For example, Lovely Day Knits was also in this testing group, and you can see her knitting blog for this sweater on her channel. Definitely go check it out. She's lovely. So I was super surprised to be picked, and this was my second test knit, so still didn't completely know what I was doing, but it turned out almost perfect. It has a lot of mistakes in it. Like the sweater has a lot of mistakes in it. I did not know how to do Fisherman's Rib yet properly. But the pattern is so nice and it turned out so squishy It's now my favorite sweater ever, and I literally can't stop wearing it. I've been wearing it non-stop for a month. I should probably wash it, but I can because I need to wear it the next day again because I love it. And I'm literally thinking about making multiple of it because it's a perfect fit. You don't just like let go of something that is a perfect fit. I gotta make like it in every single possible material so that I can cover my whole life with Fisherman rib sweaters. And actually, the pattern is coming out today. So go and grab your copy of the pattern because I swear it's like one of the best sweaters you will be able to make in your life. This test knit started in summer, but it quickly became the ho ho ha ha ho season again. It was already the second autumn of my knitting, but we are only considering the time before like the end of the official year. So I finished the test knit. I started making hats for my friends because I had a lot of too much yarn in my stash already. I made multiple classic ribbed hats. I made cozy autumn socks. I made some fingerless gloves for myself. I made a Rembrandt beret for my mother and started making a hat for myself. But basically, I was mostly working on a big dress I'm making and my second design. I forgot to tell you about the first design. I'm sorry. When I was test knitting Kate's picnic sweater, I actually came up with a design for a bandana to like mix and match with the sweater. So, and it's a free pattern I've published on Ravelry. So if you want to check it out, you can. And now I'm working on a new pattern. So in my first year of knitting, I already decided to start designing knitwear. Is it a smart decision? I don't know. Am I having fun? Yes, I do. So now, a year later, I'm definitely still a beginner. I don't know a lot of things. I may be like an advanced beginner. I have tried a lot of things. I have dipped my fingers into every single pool of stuff you can do with knitting, and I'm very happy about it. I've changed my one needle to a set of needles that was crappy. I then got a new set of knit bros for my birthday, and now Christmas is around the corner, and because I hit 2,000 followers on TikTok, my husband promised me to get a Chiagu needle set. So I have everything a knitter can wish to have, and I'm very glad that at that point in my life when I was very sad and distressed, I turned to knitting, and now it's literally became the main thing in my life. Everybody knows me as Nadia who knits, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very self-sufficient in this field, and I get joy. I get like actual joy out of making things for myself and my family and my friends. And because of that, this hobby became a very big part of my life. And I hope that it stays there for a long, long time. So I will be able to share many more videos about everything I've made in the year of knitting. Thank you very much for staying with me here and listening me ramble about my knits throughout the whole year, my first year of knitting. If you would like to stay in touch with me, please consider subscribing to my channel, or you can also follow me on Instagram where I post pictures of my knits and a little bit more live content. I post a lot of stories about what I'm making, or maybe like some yarns that I find. And you can follow me on TikTok where I post goofy content related to knitting. If you like this video, consider pressing the like button and maybe adding a comment and saying what you've made throughout your first year of knitting and when it was. Like maybe you're a new knitter like me, or maybe you've been knitting for 40 years. Tell me about it in the comments, and I will see you in the next video. Have a lovely day, my knitting friends and buddies.